love, everyone. I'm Djehuty Ma'at-Ra, light worker, spiritual counselor, life coach, and guide. And my message to you in this video is you got to keep studying. You got to keep studying, people. You have to. It don't stop. It don't stop. I don't care how many years you've been out of school, be it high school or college. You cannot stop acquiring knowledge. Right knowledge, correct knowledge, good knowledge. Don't stop, people. It don't. As long as you're alive on this planet, you're in school. You're going to be learning lessons. Learning never stops. Now, you have to understand that we are residents of two worlds at the same time. The material world, the matrix, civilization, society, and then the spiritual realm. Now, the mundane realm of knowledge, information, may be limited as far as formal education is concerned, because once you get out of college, that's pretty much it. And then you go off into the whole career thing, because that's pretty much how so-called education is set up here in the matrix. You get educated, which is really not education, but inculcation. Okay, things are going into you. True education brings out of you. Education coming from a Latin word, educe, which means to bring out. And true education brings out. So because things were not brought out of you, but were put into you, put into your mind, you were not educated, you were inculcated. Okay, so education in the matrix is limited. It serves a term, or you only undergo it for a term, and that term is in relation to career, making a living, not living your making. But that's okay. That's how it is in the matrix. So it's limited. That's okay. Then you go off into your career. Now, even though that is the standard or the norm, you don't have to stop. And you should always be acquiring knowledge about the mundane or material world, especially the things that affect you, like law. You don't have to go to law school to start studying law. You can go to a commercial bookstore, or better yet, a legal bookstore, and start purchasing the things that are used to regulate you, such as the vehicle code, that's for sale, the civil code, that's for sale, the code of civil procedure, that's for sale, the evidence code, that's for sale. All of these law books are for sale, and they're used against you daily, whether it's a child support, family court case, a traffic case, a parking ticket. You know, everything that we experience pertaining to government it's in a book. And everything of so-called law is written down in a book, a law book, and you can purchase those books and study on your own. If I can do it and others can do it and have done it, you can too. Now that's part of mundane learning. So even if you graduated from high school or college, you can always learn things that affect you within the society. You can always do it, people. You have to keep studying. Now, we switch it over to the spiritual side. Now, the spiritual side, there is none of that graduation and getting paper degrees and things like that, you know, even though some of the schools out there are offering them, because people want to use certain things of a spiritual nature within the mundane sense to help people out on a mundane level. It's almost like integrative education, complementary education. You know how they have integrative medicine and complementary medicine, where they're trying to use drugs with herbs and unnatural things with natural things. It's like that with spiritual education and mundane or worldly education. So some are offering degrees. You get the spiritual knowledge and you get a degree. That's the exception to the rule. Now on the spiritual side, man, it ain't got nothing to do with the matrix. It ain't got nothing to do with any recognition. It has nothing to do with getting degrees, because it's not even about making a living. It's about living your making, okay? Mundane education is to help you to make a living. That's to get your job, people, or that's the job you work at right now, okay? And if you have a job right now, especially in this economy, you really should be grateful. You know, some of you watch my videos and it's like, oh man, I got to quit my job. I got to drop out of school and all this stuff here, as if I'm 100% anti the matrix, as if I'm anti education, mundane, worldly, man-made education, as if I'm, you know, anti jobs, people working jobs. Come on, people, let's keep it real. I'm a Taurus. I'm very practical. You know, I deal with reason. Listen, if you're in this matrix, you are going to need or require a job, you know, to pay you some money so that you can receive some income so that you can play this game, which involves paying a rent or mortgage, car note, utility bills, cable bills, and credit card bills, and bills and bills and bills, because you do know you on the planet just for the sole purpose of paying bills, right? As far as those who run the matrix are concerned. You do know that, right? That's where humanity, I mean, listen, in their mind, humanity evolved so that people can pay bills. I'm just messing with you guys. But, you know, seriously speaking, though, a lot of those in positions of power, that's all they care about is making money through you paying bills, because they have usurped the things that the creator, nature, provided absolutely free of charge. I mean, we're paying for air now, clean air, you know, because these people pollute stuff and then make you pay for the good thing. They know it's supposed to be clean, but, you know, we're going to go ahead and pollute it, and then we'll bottle it up and sell it to the people. So, you know, we're buying air now, oxygen, you know, we're buying water, I mean, bottled water. It's crazy, you know. We're paying for the fire in our homes, the heater, the stove, you know, we're paying for electricity. Um, you know, it's a trip. Basic things that you know we've always had access to as a gift. You know, as part of the gift of life, being here on the planet, the things that we require were given to us free of charge, and a group of greedy men got together and created a system, and you know, so you know now we're paying for these things that the Creator blessed us to have and use and benefit from for absolutely free of charge. All we had to do is just labor and respect the laws of nature, of the universe. And ancient man and woman did that, and modern day man and woman, especially in civilization, is having a very difficult time doing that, which is why we're so riddled with disease and drama and you know illnesses and just all the hangups and stuff that we're dealing with day in and day out that keep a lot of industries in business, keep a lot of individuals in business, whether it's you know those on the spiritual side, those on the mundane side, psychiatrists and doctors, and marriage counselors and grief counselors, and then over here on the spiritual side, those of us who you know we deal with the past life regressions and spiritual counseling and things like that. It doesn't matter if you're paying money and if we are charging, and then it has become a business. It's an industry, and people keep it going. And I'm not saying that it's bad, because a lot of people do need help and they don't know how to get that help, you know. So both sides offer assistance, and I wouldn't want to be in a society, I wouldn't want to be in civilization and there was no help, you know, because that's just how it is. There's always those who know more, and whose light just shines, you know, brighter than the rest, you know. So that's also part of the equation as well, too. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. All I'm just saying is that because we live so against the Tao, the way, nature, universal law, God, creator, nature, you know, whatever you want to call it, we just catch so much hell. We just catch so much hell because we've embraced an illusion created by man, predicated upon his false notion that he can do it better than God. He can do it better than nature. He can do it better than the universe, you know, and we buy into it. You know, we like the illusion. Well, most of us like the illusion until we realize that an illusion is very short term, very short lived, and it's like a benefit whereby the benefit is very brief, but the detriment that comes with the benefit is very long, almost the duration of one's life if one does not become conscious. So people, you have to study. You have to study everything that comes to mind. Everything. I mean, for myself, it started in the early 1980s. I used to just walk down the street and ask myself questions, like why is today Monday? And I would go look up Monday, the origins of Monday. Found out it was Moon's Day. I was like, wow, okay. Then Tuesday, Tuwas, the god Tuwas. Tuwas Day became Tuesday. And Wednesday, Odin or Woden's Day, Wednesday. Thursday, oh, from the god Thor, the mighty Thor. Thor's Day became Thursday. And I said, man, here we are residing in a Christian nation, and the Christians be talking about the pagans this, the pagans that, and the days of the week have their origin with paganism. It's not Jesus' day, Luke's day, Mark's day, Matthew's day. It's Woden's day. It's Freya's day, Thor's day, Saturn, the god Saturn, Saturn's day, Saturday, sun worshippers, Sunday. I said, man, this is crazy. And, it just led me to start studying everything. Anything I could think of, I would see. And there was no internet back then. It was hardcore, real deal, old school, true school research. Okay, not armchair research, but old school, true school, where you were into the books, you were at the library, you were at the bookstores, you were wherever you had to go to get that information. You gotta keep studying, people. You must always acquire knowledge. You must always acquire knowledge, worldly knowledge, and then the spiritual knowledge. You always have to be working. People, I mean, if you would just apply 30 minutes time in and from your day, it would make a difference. 1 hour per day would make more of a difference. 90 minutes would make even more of a difference. 2 hours, why, that would be great, because that's the duration of a movie. Hey man, we'd like to study more, man, but I don't have the time. You make the time, just like I made the time. I used to enjoy, watching television. And it's like, okay, where am I going to get time from? I can't get time from the job, even though I did find a way to do that. I just turned off the full tube, and I wasn't necessarily watching crazy stuff. I watched a lot of things of the 1970s, and the quality of, the films, the movies, the TV shows, are like night and day compared to the stuff that came out in the 90s and the 2000s and even now. But still, I had to turn it off and start reading and writing. That's so important, so important. And I started with vocabulary words. I started with vocabulary words. This was a book that I started in the 90s. I started this book around 1994. It's just a little black book. You can see it's kind of old and beat up. And I got a paper falling out of it. And I'm quite sure, yep, it's some notes. And this goes back to the 90s, people. I was like 24, 25. And I realized I had to keep studying every day. So this thing is kind of old and beat up, but I still use it. And I want to just show you. You can see my vocabulary words. You can see my vocabulary words. That I still study. Courtship, social activities of potential mates culminating in engagement and marriage. Let's go down here to endogamy, marriage traditionally within one's social, kinship, religious, or ethnic group. I love these large words, even though I don't really use them in communication with most people, because most people don't study, so it does a disservice. Because most people will sit up there and lie to you. You know what I'm saying, man? Because see, you know what a endogamy mean, right? Yeah, I know what it mean. Yeah, and damn well he don't know what it means. And people don't like to feel stupid because they are stupid or dumb and don't want to admit it. So, you learn to speak the language of the people. However, you must have imaginary conversations with people until you can attract yourself to certain individuals who are very polished and refined as far as speaking use of the English language. When I started, I had to go to the West Side. I grew up in South Central Los Angeles, so that wasn't going to happen there. No disrespect to the people who are exceptions to the rule, who reside in South Central Los Angeles, but I had to usually go, white communities in like the Bodhi Tree, spiritual metaphysical bookstores, and I would usually meet white women, Caucasian women who were open to things, the goddess studies, and just a whole bunch of things that I was into, and have communications with them in order to polish my skills. And of course, a time came where I started attracting African Americans, black women, black men who were on the same page as myself. And it's like, wow, like, okay, this ain't a race thing. This is just a people thing. You keep living, you find out like, wow, like, yeah, there's some ignorant black people in America. Like, wow, there are some seriously ignorant white people in America. There's some serious ignorant Hispanic Latino people in America. There's some stupid dumb Asian people. You'd be like, dumb people, smart people. It ain't got nothing to do with race. Smart people, dumb people. And then you get it. And it's like, you know what? I choose to be intelligent. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what my culture is, what my race is, my gender. I don't care how much money I'm earning. I choose to be intelligent. And that's a choice every human being can make. Your race, your culture does not have to handicap you unless you choose for it to do so, which wouldn't be wise. But it's an individual choice to be intelligent. You know what I'm saying? You're not naturally intelligent because you're black. You're not. You're not naturally intelligent or smart because you're white. You're not. You have to put in work. You have to put in work. That's just how it goes. So these words here, I'm studying these words per day. I wrote all of these words down with my hand because, see, whatever is expressed is impressed. So I learned for myself that I could retain these words in my mind better if I write them down. See, now everything is on a computer with a keyboard, and I'm old-fashioned. I still write with pens and pencils, but mostly pens because that's what works best for me. Superlative of the highest order, suppliant, asking earnestly. I love these words. When I was working at the job, when I first started this book of vocabulary words, I met a homeless guy who looked up on me because he was asking for money. And I said, man, what I said, I was like, man. He said, what is that? What is that? What is this? I ain't no goddamn animal. He said, sign language is for animals. I'm a human being. You speak to me. You speak to me. You will never be successful if you don't learn to speak. And I said, damn. Now, even though it's like, how come you ain't taking your own advice? I didn't trip on that. I listened to what that man said. He dropped something heavy on me. Because, a side of me wanted to get mad, like, man, you homeless bum, screw you, what happened? No. You will never be successful in this society if you don't learn to speak. Shortly after that, I'm in the car, I hear a commercial for Verbal Advantage. And I hear the phrase, your vocabulary is a yardstick used by other people to measure your level of intelligence. I still got it in my mind from hearing that commercial. I said, man. And it just resonated with me. And I wrote the number down and I went home and called. And that joker was like $395 plus tax and shipping. I spent over $400 for 20 audio cassette tapes. And man, people, my family members, my siblings, they thought I was out of my mind to spend that amount of money on 20 audio cassette tapes. Because back then we were into the swap meet, buying jerry curl supplies or hair care supplies, gold chains, stuff we didn't need. And that's how it was growing up in South Central Los Angeles, even the borderline of Willowbrook. African Americans, we weren't 95% consumer, we were 100% consumer. And I was waking up, $400 for that? Man, like, you really bugging, man. Whatever you into, man, is really making you crazy. Huh. That investment, like that audio program said, it will pay you 100 times the dividends of the price of this audio set. And again, I spent about $400 something. And you know what? It went well over 100 times the dividends. It's It's unlimited. I can't even say 1,000 times the dividend because I have generated so much money in my life. It's mind-boggling, and I'm here to tell you that it's real. It's really real. Hard work really does pay off, and especially hard work predicated upon the self, working on the self, cultivating the self. It really pays off. There are no excuses. I'm from South Central Los Angeles. We grew up mostly impoverished. There was the gangs, the drugs. And, I grew up in the midst of all of that, and I made it through. And I give thanks to my parents for that. Because it's not just, the knowledge and information. You got to have a roof over your head. You got to be fed, and it helps to be loved, and all of those good things that a lot of people just don't have access to where they are in life at present. Doesn't mean they're not going to ever have them. They just have to make up their mind that they're worthy of them, predicated upon desiring them, and stay open to receiving them. And it starts with self first. The love you want from other people starts with self first. Love yourself first. Genuinely love yourself first. Don't worry about being selfish and narcissistic and all those other terms out there that may be slapped on you. Some people are afraid to be this way because they care about what other people think more so than how they think about themselves or what they believe or how they feel about themselves. And I think that's totally errant because I know that everything starts with self. And I learned that through experience. So, they didn't understand what I was doing, but I understood what I was doing. And look where it has, led me to, the dividends, the 100-fold dividends is, like I said, I can't put a number on it. I never thought that I would be responsible for generating millions of dollars. And it was I who generated millions of dollars. Even those who were in business with me could not even claim that because the money was generated based upon everything that came out of my mind. You see, that's the whole key. Everything came out of my mind. Now, this is not to say I'm better than any of those individuals. The point I'm making is that the monies that I've created, brought in, generated over the years, came from my mind. Like all of those products, all the products that you guys love, they came out of the mind. I researched, I studied, I wrote notes. I have notebooks just like the one I showed you on vocabulary words of health notes, things that I learned over the years pertaining to health. And it's all in here. And so that's why I was able to write. All the information you see on the former site, I wrote that. I just sat on the computer and just wrote awesome stuff. What you see on the dhealthstore.com website, I wrote that. I can start another company tomorrow. Boom. I will write it all. It's in here. And it's from years of research. It really pays off, people. It really pays off. Now, I'm a herbalist and this is my field, but for you, it may be something else. Doesn't matter. If you apply yourself, if you apply your mind, you too can generate millions of dollars, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. You can do it, people, because the true wealth is here. So all of the material wealth that I've attracted over the years were predicated upon an intangible wealth, a spiritual wealth, a mental, intellectual wealth that was cultivated over the years from studying, researching, investigating, learning, educating, self-educating myself. I didn't go to college. I was not the college type. And just because you're watching this video, the message to you is not necessarily drop out of college, drop out of school, okay? Because some of you guys are in professions that's going to require that degree, and you will be a fool to drop out, and forego that degree and attempt to be like a Djehuty Ma'at-Ra. It may look easy now, but you guys didn't see the hard work. I worked a corporate job, so I would never tell you to quit your corporate job unless you got enough money in the bank to take care of yourself. Because I know the jobs I work serve me in what I do right now. I'm into my spiritual calling. I'm into my higher calling, my life purpose, higher calling. I'm into that right now. And I can tell you that the mundane paved the way for me. It prepared me to do this work here. And it's doing the same thing for you. Now, I work for an investigation agency whereby we were dealing with auto insurance. And, the law was involved. And I remember at that job that I was responsible for going to get the law books every year they came out. And it only dawned on me maybe like the last year or two when I was there that it was something to these particular books because I would see the law books at the bookstore, but they were condensed, they were abridged, and we had to get the blue books from West Publishing. So when I got into law, I remembered the books that the investigators used to use, and I purchased those books, and then I found out why. Like the condensed book in the commercial bookstores, the people are getting screwed. They're not getting what the judges are getting, what the prosecutors are getting, what law enforcement are getting, because they're using a certain type of book. But the thing about it was that book was available to the public. If you went to a law bookstore and you asked for it, they would sell it to you. It's all just knowledge, people. You know, what you want, what you feel you need or require, you shall get. That's the law. You got to keep acquiring knowledge. Words are very important. I mean, remember the bomb? You must learn to speak. Verbal Advantage said that there is a correlation between how much money you earn and also your level of success in the society based upon how well you speak. Now, I had to learn to speak well because when I graduated from Locke High School in 1988, my English was really substandard. It was substandard. That would have been a problem for me in my life because I would have limited myself based upon my vocabulary, which was probably about 400 words or less. That's not good, people. And you know what? The average person speaks about 400 words. And Verbal Advantage, I learned from Verbal Advantage that there are approximately 1,500 words that separate the high vocabulary achiever from the low vocabulary underachiever. 1,500 words. Now, for a lot of people, like, oh, damn, 1,500 words, that's a lot of words. No, it's not. You must consider that the English language has well over 1 million words. We're only talking the difference of 1,500. This language has over 1 million words. It's a riddle language. Now, I know a lot of people condemn it, you know, the white man's language, and one word got 4 definitions, 5 definitions, and so you got to put it in context. That's great for the mind. That's a mental exercise. It's like I was telling my children over this weekend. I'm like, your generation need to really learn to put down all these iPhones and these little iPads and all this little stuff you're doing and start, you know, working with the word puzzles. Start dealing with the riddles. Well, you know, Daddy, it happens on the little phone and the gadget. I'm like, you know, that may be true, but that radiation that's beaming out, you know, you're impairing your eyes, eating up the visual purple. So when you're dealing with paper, there's a different vibration, a different frequency when you're writing on paper, when you're filling out crossword puzzles on paper and doing the riddles on paper and all the other mind games that help to develop a memory and cognitive skill and function and ability. There's a difference. You know, and if you don't talk to your children, they won't know this stuff here. Just well, everybody has the little iPads and they're going to think things are normal if you as a parent don't talk to your children and guide them. Okay. Now, a lot of people, it's hard for you guys to do that because you yourselves don't know. You yourselves don't know. So it's your duty to keep acquiring knowledge because as long as you got little children up under you, they're going to be asking questions. Okay. And their little brains are like sponges, man. So if you don't fill it up, trust me, the matrix, the public fool system of the matrix, going to fill it up. So you got to keep acquiring knowledge, not just for yourself, but also for your mate, also for your children. That's just how it is, you know, especially if you want to truly be successful. We're not talking this fame where you're a rapper, you get a hit record like MC Hammer. So MC Hammer has, you know, a hit record, made a lot of money, but because he was ignorant, you know, because of the fame, he used his body, his physique, you know, that lower creativity, made a lot of money, but he didn't cultivate this. And like a lot of celebrities, mostly African Americans, they end up broke and end up in trouble with the IRS and owing back taxes and things. They didn't cultivate, you know, they was making money and they thought they was on top of the world. You're never on top of the world until you're on top of your dome. That means when you're on top of the knowledge game. Here, you got to invest in here. And I know people want to invest with lipstick and makeup, your boobies, you want silicone, you want big breasts, you want a big butt, you want big muscles and all that stuff. And you know, people, all that stuff wouldn't be so bad if you had your priorities straight. You gotta keep learning and studying. Learn those words. I'm gonna tell you something, etymology is key. I bought this 27 years ago. Etymology is so key. Learning the etymological root of words will really help you out. It's fun. It's like a riddle. Like, wow, the word originated here 200 years ago and it meant this. You know, if you look up the word um, gynecologist, you know, it goes back to a word obstetrics, which means midwife. So it's like, man, how did gynecologists become men and doctors? You know, when it started out with midwives, like what happened? How did it go from midwives to doctors? And then you study that history, and then you have, I don't have the book before me, but you have a book called Word History. Then you find out what took place. And it's like, wow. Remember the other video I made, and I was talking about vulgar language and profanity and how the Roman Catholic Church was responsible for it? Well, there are books out there that deal with word history, and you can read about the history of how words changed and how they ended up with their present day meaning. It's fascinating. It's intriguing. I love it. And I still study this stuff. I don't care how busy I am. I don't care what's going on with business. I don't care what's going on with the health store. I don't care what's going on with litigation. I don't care what's going on. Djehuty Ma'at-Ra studies every single day of his life. I have a wife. I have 6 children. There are various business that I'm involved with. I deal with a lot of people every day, but I make no excuses, people. I'll always acquire knowledge. I will always put something in my head. Now, I don't do it as much as I used to because something cracked in 2005 where information just comes to me now. But still, the angels have been telling me to study more of a mundane level because my work on the mundane realm is going to be intensified. It's going to be enhanced and magnified. So, and see, I bought the stuff years ago, but I held on to it. So the angels were like, yo, you got to do this. And I still have it. I never understood how people could go to college and sell their books after the semester or after school was out. And they would just sell their books for a few something dollars. I never believed in that. You know, even though I never went to college, I just, when I heard my friends like, man, I'm going to sell my books, you know, it's like, dude, you know, there may come a time when you may need that book. You may need the information in that book. So I always held on to my books and, you know, well, it helps being a tourist. We're hoarders, but still, I have a use for that stuff now. You see, and the angels are telling me. So I've always listened to myself. You got to listen to yourself, people. I'm going to do a video on intuition. This is dealing with knowledge, but knowledge and intuition, they work hand in hand. It's both worlds, people, mundane, material, and spiritual. Now, there's people who don't understand why I use profanity. You guys don't use why I use slang. You guys don't understand why I use ebonics. Let me tell you something. The English language is vast. It's so vast that they even have a dictionary of American slang. Okay, so all the little words that sometimes I offend you guys with, you know, the vulgar language, the profane words, they're in here. And it's mind-boggling, the history behind them. I hear people use them every day, and it's like, wow, that's such an ignorant person because they don't know the history. They're using a word based upon what they think it means. But the root of it is mind-boggling. It's so fascinating. Now, I don't have the book in my hand here because I got to really get out here and go, too. It's a book called Imponderables. Okay, Imponderables also give us the history of certain words. No, not words. Well, words too, but phrases. More so phrases. Imponderables give us the history of words and phrases. Mostly phrases, you know, like barking up the wrong tree, letting the cat out of the bag, you know, things like that, you know, giving someone the cold shoulder. And when you study the history of these phrases that we use and we're ignorant of, it's fascinating. You know, and then again, too, people, you know, I have Mars and Gemini. So, you know, pertaining to the brain, there's a lot of activity there. So what I'm saying to you may not impress you, but it does to me. It fascinates the hell out of me. And then also, too, let's see here. Did I bring, these things came out of my notebook, but I wanted to share with you some of the things that you could use to enhance your vocabulary. Let's see here. It gotta be somewhere. Maybe I left them. Give me a second. Yep. I left them. Okay, here we go. And then I gotta really get out of here. Good proof grammar. I'm not too busy to listen to these CDs. Good proof grammar. You know, when you're in a car, you know, it's like you're in school on wheels. So turn off the, you know, all the R&B and the gospel music, and there's a time for that, you know, but balance, you know. Word smart, you know, how to build. This is how to build a more educated vocabulary. It was kind of difficult for me reading from the screen because the words were backwards. But this is volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4. Word smart. Learn those words, those extra words to enhance your vocabulary. This is Word Smart 2. You can listen to these CDs in the car. Smart speaking, very important. Smart speaking. 600 words you need to know. And this little booklet came with it. It fell out. 600 words you need to know. At least somebody feels you need to know them. This is Grammar Smart. This is Speak for Yourself. I bought this stuff years ago, people, and I still listen to this stuff. This is the bomb diggity right here. Verbal Command. This is awesome. Verbal Command. And I don't listen to this stuff, you know, because I'm in business. A lot of these CDs are for, you know, people in business. I'm not in business like I used to be, but the information is still applicable to myself because I talk to people. And, you know, when you're a talker, you know, it really helps to be persuasive. You know, it really helps to be a cohesive, persuasive, and commanding speaker. It really helps. I don't care what field you're in, it really helps. You have this one here called Lifelong Learning Album, Focus, Memory, Power, Nap, Super Study for the Mind. I may have even bought that for my children. I bought a lot of the stuff even before I had children because I lived in my mind. So I said, when I have children, I'm going to have all this stuff. I'm going to have a library, a school for them in the home. So they was going to learn things that are major. I used to be against my children going to the public food system. And then my man Otis helped me realize something. He was like, Djehuty, you went through the matrix and look how you turned out. And he said, you know, Tootie, you know why you're awesome, brother? Because you got the best of both worlds. Because, you know, it was like there were people who had knowledge and they sucked in the world. They were broke. They were struggling, couldn't get a job. They couldn't apply that knowledge, you know, over here, that spiritual knowledge to the matrix. So they had all this knowledge, but they were broke and struggling. And I was like that. I was limited like that. You know, had all this knowledge over here, but in the matrix, I didn't have it going on, you know. And then I learned, like, wait a minute, you know, the material follows the spiritual. So if you got it together on the spiritual, then you should have it together on the material. You have a command of the material world. So how are you going to have all this knowledge and you're spiritual and you helping people and then you broke and struggling, you're stressed out, you can't keep a relationship and that it doesn't work like that, you know. And I can say that because I was on that side there. I was really on that side and I went on to generate millions of dollars through use of this, and you can too. Make your mind work for you. This is a great series here. And there are so many others out there, people. I'm not going to show you in this video because I have to end. It's so much out there, people. And I know it's a lot of crap stuff out there. And I do my best to bring you the stuff that work for me so that you don't have to really go through that chase of, you know, purchasing things and investing in things that really inapplicable or won't get the job done or what have you. You know, I mean, you really never lose, though, even if you did study stuff like, I didn't really get nothing out of this, but you were still using your mind. So I look at it like, you know, it's always a benefit. But I know most people want that heavyweight dynamite stuff to just, boom, just really crack open those atoms of thought. I totally understand that. So before I go, people, I'm going to say again, you got to keep studying. Now, I know this video did not do justice for a lot of you. The linear man-made time is of the essence. You know, I got to go do something right now. You know, I'm going to the store to help out there. It's so much going on. People just keep studying, you know, keep studying. And on behalf of dhealthstore.com, I want to thank you guys for the support. We were there late last night and the phones were ringing and, you know, via, you know, free will, we answered the phone because, you know, it's the company's closed at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We answered the phone well up to 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and there were orders. So we want to thank you guys for the orders because that's what keeps us in business. That's what helps to keep Djehuty Ma'at-Ra free. Okay, that's what helps to keep me free. Even though I'm not on board, I don't receive any income from the business, it helps to keep me free to do this the way everything is set up, you know. Um, it's it works. It's totally reciprocal, you know, and I'm telling you people, my goal, my plan is to make at least 10 videos a day because I have to get ready and get out of here. But I'll be back and I'll bring more videos. And you know, I did the best I can do in this video considering the time I had. I can make a 2-hour video just talking about knowledge, information, education, and things like that. And the time will come. You know, just like I said, people, just keep supporting, keep spreading the word, keep putting it out there. Tell people about dhealthstore.com. I'm going to do the DHS update. I did the pilot. It got 1,000 something hits already. People just love steam. They love fire, you know, controversy, what have you. But I'm gonna do DHS update. More, you know, what do the people want? They want it more refined, so they can tell their relatives about it because they can handle me like that. But it's a lot of new people who can't. So I have promised the people that when I do the DHS updates, you know, be straight to the point, dealing with health and certain things, and that way they can share the links to people, and certain people won't be offended because they can't understand who I am and how and why I express myself, what have you. So that's coming. So keep the support coming in. Thank you for bearing with us. Yeah, you have made us #1, like almost like overnight. And I see where things are going. I read the angel card the other day in a different video, and you see pertaining to the present, you know, how everything is just in sync with the universe. You know, the universe is over this, and that's who I submit to. You know, I just follow the universe. I can't, you know, worry about the people, individuals, groups, agencies, organizations who may be adverse to what DHS is doing and what I'm doing. Just got to follow the universe. So that's going to do it for this particular video on behalf of dhealthstore.com. I am Djehuty Ma'at-Ra, and I thank you for listening, and I thank you for watching. Peace and love. Keep studying.